It's the Al Travis Show, and every now and again we get topical on us. And for the record, some of the stuff you're going to be listening to is going to be recorded over the holiday weekend as we do best of stuff. But I think this is important enough that we do something live, and we're going to do it with Tim Walsh. He is the executive director of, pronounce it for me, sir, Betro?
Boterre.
Boterre.
It means beautiful earth.
Beautiful
Boterre.
Earth out of Owatonna. It's part of EOSIS, which is a recovery organization for,
Right.
Is it alcohol and drugs? Do you specialize in either? What? Tell me about your organization.
Yeah, so we have about 20 facilities across the whole state,
Okay.
and we specialize in substance use disorder treatment, so alcohol and drug. And we also do mental health services at all of our facilities. And we do we do a lot of residential. So if someone needs to come stay with us, usually that's about 30 days or so. Or we do outpatient services. If a person wants to stay in the community, come in from home, they can come in virtually, or they can come in person at one of our sites and get treatment that way.
All right. An interesting concept you're saying about we're doing this on Zoom as we speak. How much a percentage? I mean, 2020 before COVID, no one was Zooming.
Right.
How much of alcohol or drug treatment can actually be done via the computer?
A lot. Yeah. So
Really?
there's about 25,000 people who seek treatment on an outpatient basis every single year in the state of Minnesota, and a
Wow.
lot of those folks choose virtual and or a hybrid. They do virtual sometimes, and they do in person other times. So it's pretty frequent. We adjusted quickly after COVID, Al.
Well, it would seem like an easy way. You don't always you can't drive, whatever, you've got issues, and you can do that. I like the idea of it. Can I ask, do you have any kind of numbers since 2020? Is it good for recurring rates to people? Recidivism, I think is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what the research says, and then I'll tell you what my own personal bias is. So
Sure.
the research is that
Go ahead.
virtual can be as effective as in person. That's what the research says.
Okay.
My own personal bias is I prefer in person, but I think if virtual is what works for you, just let you know and have confidence that virtual can be as effective as in person.
All right. The reason we have you on, especially for this next 2 weeks, is a mutual friend of ours put me in touch with you. And the first thing he was talking about, which really piqued my interest, is how can the rest of us help friends, neighbors, family members that are new in recovery to get through these holidays? You're going to show up and the rest of us are all having a cocktail and
Yeah.
Jimmy's had a hard time. Is there something we can do to help them through that? Because the added pressure of the holiday season is just, I got to imagine, nuts.
It is. It is. And in fact, the relapse rates go up 150% during the holidays. That gives you a sense of how vulnerable people are. And so what we do when we're working with folks who are early in recovery is say, hey, first of all, I want you to think ahead. I want you to come up with a plan. Hey, this is who I want to be when I go to a party, if I go to a party. And this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm not going to do. And I'm going to go with somebody who's safe, or have a family member or a friend who's safe and I can be honest with ahead of time, somebody who can help me and even kind of be your wingman and
Yeah.
divert people so that the pressure doesn't get to you. And then we also say to people, hey, come up with an exit strategy. We call it a safety plan too, but like an escape plan in the situation.
Sure.
If you're feeling tempted, if you're feeling a lot of pressure, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you follow the escape plan and you have that set ahead of time. The other things are interesting. Like I've noticed a lot of people in recovery, they'll bring like a non-alcoholic drink.
Sure.
And some people think that's they have go just fine. Other people are triggered by that, so they don't do that. And some people will bring like their own mocktail, or they'll have a pop in their hand at all times, or a water in their hand at all times, and that then relieves pressure as well. And then you have essentially allies in your family who are willing to make sure that you don't be placed in any undue pressure by anybody else to use alcohol or other things.
Sure. And on that sounds like a lot of work for you, Tim, and your staff to get that all set up. but I'm
Yeah.
just going Jimmy for no particular reason. But Jimmy comes to the family outing, and we, as the family, know he's had issues, that he's been through treatment or he's going through, even if Zooming it, we know there's an issue there. Um, is it up to us? Should we reach out to Jimmy and say, Jimmy, I can be your safety valve, buddy. I'm your wingman. Is there something we can do to facilitate? On my end, what can I do? Obviously, you shouldn't be pushing anybody to have a beverage. They say no the first time, walk away. You don't, oh, come on, Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? I get that. Is
Yeah.
there something I can do to step forward and say, Jimmy, you come to my place, you're going to be fine. No pressure here,
Yes.
buddy.
Yes, I think if you have that relationship with Jimmy where he's, you're a go-to person for him, he feels safe with you, he trusts you, you have that open relationship where he's let you know where he's at in his recovery. I think it's perfectly fine for family members to reach out to Jimmy
Okay.
and to say, hey, I got you in this situation. And even ask him, what are you worried about? What are you anticipating might happen here, and how might be I be supportive of you in that situation? Other people say, maybe not so much family hasn't been all maybe my go-to. So then I perhaps have a friend that I'm able to bring along
Okay.
as well, or they have a sponsor, and then they check in with their sponsor before and after. And some people will even research ahead of time, Al, and they'll say, "Hey, there's a recovery meeting in the area during this time or afterwards,
Okay.
and so on," and then go to that. Yeah.
Okay, maybe there you go. Well, I don't know what I don't know. So are you telling me there are AA meetings, I don't, drug awareness meeting, what do they call AA meetings if it's a drug meeting? Is it AA still?
Well, yeah, they're recovering. There's lots of
All right.
different ones these
Okay.
days, Al. Yeah,
But
AANA. Yeah, yeah. There's lots
do
of
they
different ones.
have those on Christmas Day? I mean, this is Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's. Are they actually having meetings New Year's Eve?
Well, I know that there's online virtual
Oh,
resources that
okay.
are available. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. I want to go to break. And the next thing I want to ask you about, because obviously there's more pressure for those that have already decided not to drink anymore, not to do drugs anymore. This is a high pressure situation. I presume those that have yet to make that call in their lives, alcohol's
Mm,
been a bit of a problem or drugs been this has got to be that pressure zone for them, right? I mean, they're coming in, it's like, no, I don't want to do this now. But
absolutely.
so can we talk a little bit about the signs? What is it that says maybe you need to come talk to Tim and just see? Can we
Hmm.
talk about that on the other side of the break? Is that all right?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
All right. I've got him, Tim Walsh. He's with Oasis? God, I'll get
Theosis.
that.
Yeah.
Eosis. And they're a alcohol and drug treatment facility. He actually runs one in Owatonna, Minnesota. And we're talking about alcohol, drug abuse, problems over the holidays. And I'm going from it, what can we do to help these folks out? That's why we're doing this show today. Tim Walsh on the Al Travis Show. More right after this. I've got him, Tim Walsh with Eosis, and that is the Alcohol and Drug Treatment Group. This one, his, is out of Owatonna, Minnesota, but I think what we're talking about stands for all of them. Sir, when we went to break, I asked you, I said, okay, got it. Somebody's got his 30-day token in his pocket.
Ah,
Obviously, it's going to be a problem. And Christmas, New Year's, it's always added pressure. I get that. I think you said 156% fail rate, higher than
yeah,
normal.
increased 150% relapse rate, an increase of that over the holidays. Yep.
So I'm sitting here saying, okay, that happens, and that's with those people, with your help, doing the best they can. Maybe we in the family can help out, and what do we got to do? So that's where we're coming from here. Now I'm asking you, what about those that haven't made that call yet? You're going to have a lot of young kids come back from college.
Yeah.
Maybe they've been experimenting a whole lot more than they should be. Maybe they're thinking they got trouble. How do we help those that show up there? And I mean, maybe we just got to take alcohol and drugs off the plate, right? Just
Yeah,
stop.
good point, Al. A lot of families actually go with no alcohol whatsoever as a way of not reinforcing that during the holidays. But what do you do? I mean, first of all, does the person even know that they have a problem or an issue? So
Yes.
if they're having a hard time cutting down, if their use has increased over time, if they actually push past the point of having that mild effect of alcohol, and they keep
Mm.
going
Yeah.
into full-blown intoxication, if it's affecting various areas of their life, all of that, those are signs that this person is having a problem, if it's starting to affect all those different areas of their life. And that's when the family, if they have that kind of relationship, can start to have that conversation with the person, and they can say, okay, maybe it's time to go check this out. And so
Hmm.
what we do, what EOSIS does across the whole state of Minnesota, is we will provide an assessment. We'll do a screening with the person, and we'll do an
Okay.
assessment, and then we'll figure out, does this person really have a what we'd call a disorder or not? And then we'd also make recommendations. Could they just go to outpatient services, and would that help them? Sometimes it's way beyond that. It's affected every area of their life, and it's starting to affect their own health and their safety. Maybe they got their first or second or fourth DUI. Goodness,
Hmm.
now it's really a flag. Well, then they might need what's called residential treatment, and
Okay.
so that we would recommend that. We'd work with them on whatever insurance coverage that they have in that situation, and then we would figure out how they're going to take care of that, and then we would help them. We'd even transport them to get into a program if they had to go into residential, or we have an outpatient service that would be available near them. So that those are the kind of steps, Al, that people take
Sure.
if they're at that point where they probably need help. Yeah.
Well, is the old saying, if you think you need help, you probably do. Is
Yeah.
there, and again, is with the OSIS, is that an in person or a Zoom meeting? You and I go after it and you answer 25 questions and you say, on a scale of 1 to 10, I think you need some help. Is there something like that on the internet which is completely anonymous for those that are feeling a little uncomfortable? I presume on the internet there's got to be.
Yeah, there is. You actually, if you even go to our website, it starts getting into, you
Okay.
might have a problem if, essentially,
Okay.
right?
Well,
And so there is some self screening that you could do. I would recommend going to a professional for that too,
sure.
and we can do that over a video conference as well. That's completely confidential, and
Okay.
and and then we can go from there.
And that would be, I guess, the holidays again spurring this. I presume you and your family like to get together on the holidays.
Yes.
You run into this, you go to the OSIS website and you put in, I'd like to talk to somebody. How quickly does that happen? Set up an appointment. We'll get to the first week in January, something like that. How does the
Oh no.
process work? Oh, no.
No, no, we try to get same day if at all possible,
Oh,
Al. And it's because the longer you wait, the less likely you're going to actually get into a treatment option of any kind. So we have like a AI or chatbot that helps people
okay.
negotiate the process. Then we have a phone number you can call right away. We're staffing that.
Mm-hmm.
We're staffing that for every day, and then into the evening as well. But even if you
Oh,
left a message, we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
okay.
We got a team that jumps all over that.
And I'm trying to find reasons not to. Then, if you're thinking you have, is it a cost thing? Do most insurance, and I presume we all get Obamacare, if you will, does that cover the cost
Yep.
of inpatient treatment or whatever would come out of this, depending on what you need?
Yeah, yeah. Some people have medical assistance as well,
Okay.
and that's government
Okay.
subsidized insurance, or what's called a prepaid medical assistance plan. Well, that's subsidized insurance for people who really have limited means. Well, we take that in 20
Okay.
out of our 21 facilities. We take that. If
Oh
they have a
wow.
commercial insurance, we will accept virtually all commercial insurance. And then let's say a person has to be self-pay for whatever reason, we can even put you on a plan. We can
Okay.
put you on a plan to pay for it. So please, let's break through that barrier. We'll problem solve that with you.
Fantastic. I love that. And then just before we have to go, sir, what are your thoughts on like a dry January? I actually have a friend who does it after he comes
Oh,
back from, he does it in November because he comes back from a vacation. Just always dry, whatever month that is. You a fan of dry January? Is it maybe even a
yeah, yeah,
test?
and yeah. So some people do it in January, other months. But here's what I like, Al. This is what's
Mm-hmm.
happening over time, especially with the younger generations, is they're realizing that alcohol and drug use, of course, alcohol is really bad in any amount. That's what they're
Mm-hmm.
finding out through the research. Well, young people are listening, and then what they're doing in order to actually go sober for a while, to actually get that going for themselves, is they will go for a whole month of being
Yep.
dry. Well, that's a good start if you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
If you can do that without being in a program, great,
Yeah.
and get that going. Even then, what we'd recommend if somebody's had, problematic use, get into a recovery group,
Yeah.
and use all the online resources too. And if that doesn't work, then you can come talk to us about a more intense level of treatment and support.
All right. We are out of time, but I'm going to get you back on, I promise, not between now and the holidays, but we'll play this over a couple of times. EOSIS
Correct.
recovery.com is the website.
Yep.
You work out of, what's the name again? I'm never going to get right out of Tom. I'm sorry.
Beauterre, 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 and it's I'd say it's the premier facility in the state, if I do say so myself. So
all right, and the numbers there, the emails, if you get the EOSIS recovery, you'll find it. Look for help. And again, we're doing this. If your family members are in this situation, make a concerted effort to decide how you can help them through this. I think we can help. That 150% jump is just terrible for me as far as the holidays go. Tim, I thank you for coming to the show. Let's make you a friend on the show. Let's get you on a regular. Fair enough?
I'd love that, Al. Thank you for having me, and happy holidays to you.
And thank you. Merry Christmas to you and yours. We'll be back with more on the Al Travis Show right after this. EOSIS recovery.com.